It's Wednesday night after a long day, and the last thing you want to do is cook dinner from scratch. But you still want a satisfying, tasty meal without the guilt? Enter your freezer's sidekick, Cauliflower. From thin and crispy cauliflower crust pizzas to all-natural white meat chicken tenders and more, Cauliflower is gluten-free always, satisfies every craving, and is ready in minutes. Cauliflower is available in freezer aisles nationwide. Visit eatcauliflower.com/where-to-buy to find a store near you.
The views and opinions expressed by guests on this podcast do not necessarily represent those of the podcast, its creators, or sponsors. If you would like to discuss a missing persons case on this podcast, please be sure to visit missingpersonspodcast.net. This episode may contain unsettling or disturbing subject matter. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Missing Persons, a podcast dedicated to spreading the word about people who have vanished under mysterious or unexplained circumstances and the family members who are looking for answers. I'm Jess Betancourt.
And I'm Mike Morford. Together we created this podcast to help give a voice to people who continue to look for their missing loved ones. In some cases, even after decades have gone by. In each episode, you'll hear from Jess giving listeners the backstory and the basic facts of the disappearance.
Then Mike will speak with someone who's intimately connected to the missing person, and his guest will share their story with us.
Please stay tuned at the conclusion of this episode to hear about our Patreon program and our commitment to help find people who have gone missing. We'll also share with you where you can find more information and how you can join our team and help our efforts. You'll get recommendations for other podcasts we think you'll enjoy, and more.
So sit back and enjoy this episode, and who knows, maybe you can help us find someone who's missing. Episode 3, Desirea Ferris. Desirea Ferris was the youngest of 4 children born to Patty Tam of Liberty, Missouri, a suburb 15 miles from Kansas City. Her 21st birthday was on February 11th of this year. Desi, as she was known, lived at home with Patty. Her parents had divorced when she was a toddler. Desi was also close with her stepmother, Jennifer Ferris, who is our guest today. All in all, Desi had 9 siblings between both biological and step brothers and sisters. In 2017, Desi had just turned 18 and was figuring out her life and exercising her independence after dropping out of high school. Desi had never been in trouble with the law, but her family says that she was hanging around with and too trusting of some pretty bad people. On May 1st, 2017, Desi left a birthday card for her mother. She and her sister left with friends before Patty got up, but they planned on returning to make her a cake and celebrate her birthday later that day. Desi texted her mother throughout the day confirming this plan, but she did not come home. And in the middle of the night, all contact and social media activities ceased, which was unheard of for Desi. Her mother filed a missing persons report with the Liberty PD on May 2nd. Here is what the family has been able to piece together about Desi's last known whereabouts, activity, and company. 2 men were last known to have been seen with Desi. These men were not named as suspects, but were named in police warrants subpoenaing phone and social media data in Desi's case. They have both refused to cooperate with the investigation. We are naming them here because they are identified by name in multiple media reports covering Desi's case. According to court documents, Robert Jason Keegan picked up Desi and her sister at their home in a white pickup truck around 4 a.m. on May 1st. Phone pings show the 3 visited multiple locations and abandoned houses throughout the morning. These empty, rundown houses are often used as trap houses by drug addicts and dealers. Keegan dropped the girls at a McDonald's at 31st and Van Brunt in Kansas City around 4:30 p.m. Another friend named Mark Arzola picked them up and drove them to a different McDonald's on 291 Highway in Liberty. Desi's sister got out, but according to what Arzola told police, he and Desi went to his house in South Kansas City. He said she left this house around 1:30 a.m. on May 2nd after being picked up in a white truck. As we said, Robert Keegan drove a white truck at the time. According to Desi's family, he claimed that he dropped Desi off later at 72nd and Troost. Arzola said he last heard from Desi around 2:35 a.m. via text discussing clothes she'd left at his house. Unfortunately, Arzola's story vacillated a number of times. The family has confronted him demanding answers as to Desi's fate. Desi's stepmother, Jennifer Ferris, says Arzola told her directly that he and Desi went to a soccer field off Blue River Road before going to his house, but he did not mention this when questioned by police. Records show that Desi and Keegan exchanged 23 Facebook messages between 10:20 p.m. and 10:58 p.m. that night. One of the messages from Desi indicated that she wanted to go home. She also texted her sister around 1 a.m. that she was coming home. Her last text to her sister around 3 a.m. just read, "Okay." Her last phone ping was 83rd and Hillcrest at 4:11 a.m. in a dangerous crime and drug-ridden neighborhood in South Kansas City. After this, all phone and social media activity ceased, and Desi's phone stopped emitting trackable information. Robert Keegan has refused to speak with the family. Just a few days after Desi vanished, he and 4 others were busted in a massive meth and weapons conspiracy. He admitted to being a meth distributor for the Kansas City region. He is now in prison on federal drug trafficking and weapons charges, and he is not talking. The family feels that Keegan and the 4 people arrested with him certainly know what happened to Desi. Liberty Police acknowledged that certain inmates in federal prison may know Desi's whereabouts, but the prisoners have chosen to remain silent. Mark Arzola is also incarcerated for violating his probation on a former drug conviction. Captain Andy Hedrick of the Liberty Police told 41 Action News, "We believe the keys to this case lie in people and places in South Kansas City," and he told True Crime Daily, "Who she was with and what she was doing are all part of the investigation." That investigation included multiple searches, trained scent dogs and cadaver dogs, and following up on hundreds of tips. The family even hired a private investigator and started a Facebook group dedicated to gathering information. But even the most in-depth investigation can run up against a brick wall if the people who have information refuse to talk. There are some people we believe that have not been completely forthcoming, and those people need to tell us everything and be honest and truthful, said Captain Hedrick to True Crime Daily. No trace of Desi has ever been found. The Ferris family says that Desi was not into drugs. Her flaw was naivete, placing trust in people who did not have her best interests at heart. Desi remains a missing person. Desirea Ferris is a white female with brown eyes and brown hair, 5 foot 1 inch tall, 100 pounds. She has a scar on her left forearm. She was last seen wearing a fuzzy pink jacket and a cream top. Mike Morford spoke with Desi's stepmother, Jennifer Ferris, from Missing Persons. That conversation is coming up after this word from our sponsors.
It's Wednesday night after a long day, and the last thing you want to do is cook dinner from scratch. But you still want a satisfying, tasty meal without the guilt? Enter your freezer's sidekick, Cauliflower. From thin and crispy cauliflower crust pizzas to all-natural white meat chicken tenders and crowd-pleasing snacks, Cauliflower satisfies every craving. Cauliflower's products are your favorite comfort foods, but made better for you and gluten-free always. The best part? You don't have to sacrifice taste or time, so you can honor your cravings without compromising. Craving pizza? You can enjoy Cauliflower's delicious margarita pizza for only 370 calories for half the pizza. Looking for easy snacks that kids and adults alike will love? Cauliflower's baked, never fried pizza snacks are nostalgia reimagined and ready in 5 minutes. Cauliflower's products are available in freezer aisles nationwide. Visit eatcauliflower.com/where-to-buy to find a store near you.
Let's be honest. Most of us have a love-hate relationship with wired bras. We love the lift, but hate the digging. We love the support, but hate feeling trapped. Well, Knix just changed everything with FreeFlex, a wired bra actually designed to work with your body, not against it. FreeFlex features a revolutionary, flexible wire that moves when you move, bends when you bend, and keeps everything exactly where you want it. No poking, no stabbing, no constant readjusting, just freedom to move. It also has a demi-cup shape for a natural lift with a lower neckline that flatters in everything from V-necks to dresses. And because it's from Knix, it's available in sizes for every body. Experience the first wired bra you'll actually want to wear all day. Visit Knix.com for 15% off your order with FreeFlex15. That's KNIX.com, code FreeFlex15 for 15% off. Knix.com.
Please consider supporting our sponsors the way that our sponsors support this podcast. It's with our sponsor support that we can continue to bring you new episodes of Missing Persons.
Hi, Jennifer, and thanks for being here on Missing Persons to discuss Desiree's case with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, just a little bit of a backstory. You're Desiree's stepmom. From what I've read and seen, it seems like you and Desiree were very close.
Desi and I weren't, we were when she was little. We did family vacations and all that stuff, when she was younger. When she turned about 14, 15 years old, her visits to my house kind of went a little bit further in between, and she had gotten kind of in the wrong crowd, and I kind of knew that from some of her postings that she was doing on social media. So I kept trying to reach out, to try to get her to come to my house, and she just wouldn't. I mean, she was just doing her own thing, and she kind of faded off after that.
It sounds like almost a typical teenager. They get to a certain age and they want to sort of hang out with their friends and do that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. That's what I thought that it was. I didn't know the kind of people that she was actually with when she went missing. I had no clue who she was, actually hanging around with. When she was younger, it would just be, they wasn't cool to come to stepmom's house anymore. If you've got your, 15 years old and you've got your friends and you're doing what you want, and, never really forced the issue either. Tried to just keep in contact, and she kind of just did, what a normal teenager, I thought what a normal teenager was doing.
Was she living with her biological mom at the time?
She was. Yes, she was living with her biological mom.
Okay, but would visit you, you guys at your house. Okay.
Correct.
If you would, can you tell us a little bit about Desiree, what kind of person she is, and what kind of memories you have, some of your favorite memories of her?
Oh gosh, she was a happy little thing. She was energetic. Always happy, always smiling, always laughing. I had several kids, one right at her age that was almost the same age as her, and then she had a little sister that was a little bit younger than her, and she loved coming up to my house and visiting, with her and doing the big sis thing, and she always was with Chloe and Sydney, and just a very happy little girl, and I never really knew anything was really wrong until she, started posting things and kind of got off the path.
What kind of student was she? Was she pretty good in school, too?
She'd had some problems. She lived in Kearney, and then her mother moved to Liberty and moved her to Liberty, and I think that's where some things started going wrong in school. She had been moved from the regular Liberty schools into the Liberty Academy schools, which is for, I wouldn't say troubled kids, but just kids that are having a rough go at it. And then she actually ended up dropping out. I think she was a sophomore, like 15 years old, when she completely dropped out of school, which I was devastated, and texted her and begged her to come and live with me, so I could get her graduated. Her two other siblings had lived at my house their senior year of high school, and I really just wanted her to graduate, and she wanted no part of it.
Yeah, I think at that age, it's tough to try and talk kids into doing stuff because they can't see the whole picture at that point.
Well, and she was already down in that area at that point, down in the South KC area. So she was, doing what she wanted to do. I mean, it was totally a case of her, just wanting to do what she wanted to do. She didn't want any part of school at all.
So a lot of that was sort of the environment, maybe?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. She was in a very, very bad area when she came up missing with some really, really bad people.
Is it a high crime area?
Absolutely.
And what kind of crimes do they typically see there?
Oh gosh, there's murders in the area that she was in. It's in a bad part of South KC, just a really drug infested area. A lot of murders. I had no clue until we went down to go hang missing posters. Exactly. I mean, there's abandoned houses everywhere. She had actually been in homes that what they call trap houses, where they go and do their drugs, and then that they leave the house. It's just been abandoned, and they just trash the house. So the area is just horrible that she went missing from.
And so going there and seeing it with your own eyes was sort of like a wake-up call to how bad things were in that area.
Right. Right. We had been able to get the house that she went missing from that night. We had been able to get the guy thrown out of the house. We actually were able to get the home condemned, at which point my family went into the home and we tried to see if there was anything of Desi's left. And I mean, you couldn't even walk in there without climbing over piles of stuff. So it bothers me that I don't know what she thought was normal about that, but I think that she was just in a point in her life that it was okay. She was just trapped in the drugs.
Had she ever had any trouble with the law herself?
No. Nope. She'd never been in any trouble, never had any problems at all. She was always a good girl. I mean, she'd do anything for anybody, and I think she just trusted the wrong people. I think that she honestly thought these people were her friends, quote, her friends. And I just think that she totally just didn't know what she was getting into, becoming friends with any of them and going in that area.
And I think a lot of times those kind of people that will take advantage of someone younger, the younger people don't know any better. They just see them as a friend. And I think some of those people try and use that to their advantage.
Oh, they fed off of her and they trapped her. They totally did. I totally believe that as well too. These older men that she had been with that night, they knew exactly what they were doing with her.
And if you can, you said you found that house pretty early on where she vanished from. How was it that you found out that she vanished from that house?
Well, we were given the pings. We've been given many, many pings from her phone that line up with two individuals that have actually been named here in the Kansas City area. They are persons of interest, and we had the address of where, the pings came from, and it was one of the person's homes. So
it showed that her phone was actually at one of their homes.
It shows that her phone pings in the area, like from a tower. It doesn't show you specifically what address they were at, but with the police questioning people, they were able to get, where she had been that night. And the phone pings matched up to these people, the areas that they had been in and where she had gone. So we knew what house it was that she had been taken from. He actually admitted that she was at his house. Oh. And then the other man comes and picks her up.
How was it that you found out that she was missing? How did your family come to find out that something was wrong?
Her mom had not had any phone calls from her. She had left on May 1st, which was her mom's birthday. And usually she's in contact with her mom pretty much throughout the day. And, her mom didn't think too much about it. I think they exchanged some texts and maybe some calls during the day on May 1st and then May 2nd. The early morning hours of May 2nd, I think Patty woke up and I think that she realized, wow, something's not right. She hasn't come home. She was supposed to come home. And Patty woke up the next day and she said that she really started to get worried when she got on the Verizon. She went on the phone bill and noticed that all communication on Desi's phone had stopped. She was a big social media person. She was constantly sharing stuff on social media. And we looked back at her Facebook page. Everything had stopped. So at that point, that's when Patty, her mother, contacted Liberty Police. She contacted Liberty Police and just went from there, filing the missing person report. Then you have to wait a certain amount of time because Desi had just turned 18 about 3 months prior to this. So she was no longer a child. She was considered an adult. So we had to wait all the time frames.
Yeah, that's the tough part in these cases when somebody's an adult, they sort of go missing. It's that crucial time at the beginning you have to wait because the police think, oh, maybe they went off by themselves since they have the right to. But meanwhile, that's also important time that if somebody's been harmed or is in danger, that's the time when you want to try and be looking for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it took, it takes almost 2 weeks. It was almost between 2 and 3 weeks before the police were even able to get the pings off of her phone. Whereas had they been able to do that within a couple of days, they might have been able, because both of these people went to jail soon after Desi went missing. They both went to jail. One of them's in prison for 18 years, and he's not talking. Okay. So that's been another big hold up on her case as well.
What kind of crimes did they go to jail for?
One of them, both drugs. One of them went to jail and ended up serving 9 months out of the 10-year sentence, and he was just released in October. And he will not talk. He's asked for his attorney every time the cops try to talk him, and that's his right to do. And then the other one is in jail. He was picked up for trafficking, and he is serving 18 years in federal penitentiary. So he will not speak either. His attorney asked for full immunity on his drug cases, and the state of Missouri is not allowed to do that on violent crimes, which he had, violent crimes, and they couldn't give him full immunity, and they weren't going to on Desi's case anyways, so he refused to talk.
Early on, it sounds like you had some ideas of different people that she might have been hanging out with and different areas she might have been in. You say those are pretty rough areas. How tough was it to go in there and start looking and have to sort of worry about the actual area you're in and the people there?
It wasn't hard. The trap houses, they're usually empty during the day. So we were able to, during the daylight hours, we've been able to search the areas, go inside the trap houses and search those. We've been able to go into one of the main areas that we've concentrated on is the Blue River area in Kansas City, which is down in South KC around the pings that she had. And we haven't had any problems getting in there and searching those areas either. So we've been all right, going into the areas at nighttime. We wouldn't want to do it at nighttime. We haven't, really done too much at night just because of the area that it's in. And we do all of the searching. And then we have a couple of people, one which is in Canada, and then another is in Chicago, and they're the ones that, help with all the paperwork. And we all just seem to make it work. We find areas to search in, and we have drones, that we use to search for her, and I don't know. We've just made it work. You have to do it. You don't have an option. Yeah. There's no option for us to quit looking for her, so we have to keep looking.
Just know she's out there. You
right.
Keep you going. Yeah.
Right. The FBI believes that she is still in the Kansas City area. They do not believe that she is any longer alive. We've used her pings, and that's kind of how we search for her in different areas where we think they might have left her.
So how painful is it hearing that from the FBI that they don't think she's alive? Does that make it tougher to keep going, or are you in agreement with them? Do you feel like she's not alive, but you're still looking regardless?
Well, we want to. I would love to say that I wish that she, wasn't, passed, and we still keep that hope going that, somewhere she's out there. Maybe they, sold her, or we haven't had very many tips at all on her being sold or, put into sex trafficking, but that doesn't mean that she wasn't. So we have to keep that avenue open, as well as, still searching in our own area for her if they did leave her someplace.
And unfortunately, it just sounds like all the possibilities are bad. I mean, if she was killed, obviously that's terrible. But if she's being trafficked, then that's another unthinkable thing as well. So you're stuck. Sort of any outcome seem pretty bleak.
Well, right. I mean, you don't want to know that anybody's been sold or sex trafficked. What kind of life is that for her? How does that leave her if she ever makes it out? Yeah. So yeah, you're always torn on, gosh, I hope she is alive, but gosh, I hope she, isn't in sex trafficking. I don't know. I don't know which would be the lesser of the two evils. It's all evil. It's just completely evil. The whole situation is evil.
Now, being in that area, it seems like people tend to not talk and keep stuff secretive. Have there been any certain rumors that have come out about her or about her case?
Oh gosh, we have all kinds of people that come forward. You know, she wasn't in a very good area. She wasn't hanging with very good people. So most of the tips and everything that we get from her are from that area, and they're not good tips. You have to be able to, listen to somebody's story, and by the time it gets to us, it's this big, gigantic, dramatized story. I mean, you have to be able to say, that did not happen. There's no way that happened. There's no way that they took her there. You just have to be really careful about what you do, because you could be, missing some piece. But we have been able to piece enough of her story together that we kind of can ascertain what happened to her. We kind of do have a storyline.
And is that something that you can share and give us a general idea of what that storyline is?
Yeah, because it's our storyline. It's what my family and myself and the people that help us come up with. It's not from the police. So, I believe that they were partying, and from what we've been able to pick up on tips, she refused to shoot up something with them. I don't know what it was. They call it a hot shot, but she refused, and we've had many tips that they shot her up with it anyways, and she went into convulsions, and then they beat her and raped her, and they dumped her body. So that's what we have been able, from the tips that we weed through and listen to, that's the story that we think has happened.
That's awful. Have you had any assistance from anyone as far as like private investigators or anything like that to help you try and get some solid leads?
We have tried a few private investigators, and then we have pretty much just stuck with the FBI and with the police. So we have just been sticking to the facts. We use Desi's drone, and we go to areas and we run her drone. We just kind of keep searching as a family and going into the areas and looking around. And, we check the trap houses every once in a while. We will drive back down and go through the area and relook over things. But that's pretty much what we've been doing. We haven't hired any more PIs. We've tried 3 of them, and none of them really worked out.
Have they ever used any kind of search dogs looking for her, cadaver dogs or anything?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like the FBI and the police, they have searched areas with cadaver dogs, and then we have a cadaver dog that is at our beck and call when we need it, that comes out, and that dog also searches as well, too. So, yes, dogs have been used many, many a times.
Desi's case has had a lot of attention, it seems like, from TV shows like Crime Watch Daily and People Magazine. Is it frustrating that despite all of that attention, despite a reward that's out there, that there just hasn't been that one tip that leads you to the answers that you're looking for?
Yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, the reason that she's out so much is because myself and her mother and the people that help with her case, we refuse to let her name be forgotten. I mean, we have pushed and pushed and pushed, and tried to get her name and keep her name out there for everybody, so they know that her case is still, we want her home. I mean, that's the bottom line, and we're not going to stop, searching for her or stop doing anything until we have her.
It's Wednesday night after a long day, and the last thing you want to do is cook dinner from scratch. But you still want a satisfying, tasty meal without the guilt? Enter your freezer's sidekick, Cauliflower. From thin and crispy cauliflower crust pizzas to all-natural white meat chicken tenders and crowd-pleasing snacks, Cauliflower satisfies every craving. Cauliflower's products are your favorite comfort foods, but made better for you and gluten-free always. The best part? You don't have to sacrifice taste or time, so you can honor your cravings without compromising. Craving pizza? You can enjoy Cauliflower's delicious margarita pizza for only 370 calories for half the pizza. Looking for easy snacks that kids and adults alike will love? Cauliflower's baked, never-fried pizza snacks are nostalgia reimagined and ready in 5 minutes. Cauliflower's products are available in freezer aisles nationwide. Visit eatcauliflower.com/where-to-buy to find a store near you.
Let's be honest. Most of us have a love-hate relationship with wired bras. We love the lift, but hate the digging. We love the support, but hate feeling trapped. Well, Knix just changed everything with FreeFlex, a wired bra actually designed to work with your body, not against it. FreeFlex features a revolutionary flexible wire that moves when you move, bends when you bend, and keeps everything exactly where you want it. No poking, no stabbing, no constant readjusting, just freedom to move. It also has a demi-cup shape for a natural lift with a lower neckline that flatters in everything from V-necks to dresses. And because it's from Knix, it's available in sizes for every body. Experience the first wired bra you'll actually want to wear all day. Visit Knix.com for 15% off your order with FreeFlex15. That's KNIX.com, code FreeFlex15 for 15% off. Knix.com.
And if there's anybody out there listening that's going through a similar situation, let's say whether it's a child or a sibling or whatever, what advice would you have for them based on your experiences?
Oh, gosh. I have a younger child that I have all my kids on an app that shows me where they're at now. Desi didn't have anything on her phone that showed any kind of back information. We have tried everything. We have, broke into her phone, and she had all of her location sharing off. I mean, that stuff is important, and you have to keep, track of your kids. And we always tell people in Desi's group, share Desi's story, share it with your kids. A lot of people have said how much Desi's story has impacted their own parenting style now, to where, you got to ask a million questions. Desi hated my million questions. She didn't like it, but there was a reason that I did it. And I have 5 other kids, 3 other stepkids, and I always ask a million questions. And I just wish that, other parents, you have to ask the questions. You have to keep up with them. You have to know who they're with. You have to know where they're going. It's so important. It would have been so much more help in Desi's case had we had the Life 360 app, or she would have had her location sharing turned on her phone, or her Google. We've tried to break into Google. If Google would have been, hooked up to her phone, it's not trying to be an invasive parent. It's just trying to keep track of who you're with and where you are and what you're doing. Had we had those things with Desi, we might have already found her.
I think it's a challenge trying to bridge that gap with a teenager that wants their privacy and wants to have, their own life, and they feel like you're nagging and being intrusive by asking them questions and wanting to use apps and stuff to track them. But I guess until they're a parent, they just can't understand the reasons that we do that stuff.
And they don't, and they think they know everything. I thought I knew everything at Desi's age. I thought I knew everything, but I didn't. I'm 48 years old now, and I can tell you I don't know a dang thing, and here I am looking for a stepchild that I have no idea. We have no clue where she is. No clue. We have not found a hair off of her head. We have not found a piece of clothing. We have not found her phone, her purse, absolutely nothing. She has vanished without a trace.
It's to parents, it's better to ask those questions and be nosy up front than be asking questions later on after something happens that it's too late to go back and change that. I think you just said it, that had you had some of that stuff, if it was operational and connected and stuff, that would have helped you. So I think for parents out there listening, don't be afraid to be nosy and questions, and teenagers are going to hold it against you probably regardless. So.
Oh, they are. I mean, yeah. And she did. I mean,
yeah.
It was a battle. I mean, I was a stepmom. What was I going to do? Yeah. I was just the mean stepmom. So my questions, and they were left unanswered. And I begged her to come up and live with me, and she was just in her way, which was fine. I just had no idea the way that she was in. So always know what your kids are doing. Always know who they're hanging with. And what those people, because you're the only one that can protect them. Desi obviously couldn't protect herself, and look where she's at.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, maybe because of their age, I think younger people especially just don't have that danger signal in the back of their head, where I think parents especially are looking for different signs of things around their kids.
Right. And I know her mom tried to tell her, that I don't think those are good people for you, but she just, they just get in their own way. People tried, and she just was not listening to it. She would have done it regardless. She was 18 years old. It didn't matter what her mom or either one of us would have said to her. She was going to do what she wanted to do. And whether it was in front of our faces or behind our backs, she would have figured out a way to go about hanging out with those people. She would have figured out a way.
I think the only thing that you can do is do your best, because there's always going to be that the sneaking out type of thing, or the teenagers are teenagers. They've been that way for since the beginning of history, and they'll continue to be that way.
Absolutely.
Definitely, we live in an age now where there's some tools to help parents sort of offset that and maybe track them when they are out. So definitely take that advice, and if anyone out there listening hears that, be sure to implement some of that stuff. On the Missing Desirea Ferris Facebook page, there's a photo posted that read "Missing 1,000 days." Your family's counting days, not just years, and that's got to be tough every day that you think today is another day that we don't have her.
Oh yeah. Yeah, her poor mom, every day on her personal Facebook page, she counts the days. She every day on her personal Facebook page, she begs for someone to give Desi back, to her and her family. She just, it's got to be horrible. It's horrible for me, and she's my stepdaughter. It's horrible for my family, and she was a stepchild. I can't even imagine what her mom actually is enduring and going through the whole entire time. So yeah, that's how her mom keeps track. And then the 1,000 days, that was kind of a big one. And then she turns 21 tomorrow. Tomorrow is her 21st birthday. Wow. And she should be out celebrating with friends, and she should be doing the fun things a 21-year-old would get to do. And here we are. She's not. Wow. We have to celebrate without her.
And how do you plan to do that? Are you going to be honoring her memory in some way?
We have a family. We've been, it's mine and Patty's families both together. We celebrate pretty much everything together now since Desi went missing. And we're going to go to a restaurant in Liberty, and we have some close friends, and we're going to have a big dinner for her and cake, sing happy birthday to her, and then we're going to do a prayer vigil out in the parking lot.
Well, it sounds like even though she's not here, that's something that she probably would like.
Oh, yeah. She's just missed so much. She's missed a ton.
Well, I really hope for your family that another 1,000 days doesn't pass before you find out what happened to Desi. If anyone out there is listening in that area, or anywhere for that matter, that has information about Desi, do the right thing and call the tip line in her case, which is 816-474-8477. You can call anonymously at 816-945-2722. And there is a reward of over $12,000 being offered. You can really help this family out. So please, if anyone out there listening has information, do the right thing and come forward. And if they want to go to the Facebook page, what is the Facebook page again?
It is Desirea Ferris Home.
How many people are connected to that page, like it or follow?
There are over 17,000 people on that page waiting for her to come home.
That's a tremendous amount of support, and hopefully we can send some more people there, and all those people will share about Desiree's case and get the word out there.
That is what we need. Absolutely, that's what we need. Just in case she is out there walking around the streets, that is what we need, is people to share.
We'll do our part to do that and help people get talking about the case and sharing it on social media. And Jennifer, I can't thank you enough for coming on to discuss Desi's case. Again, we'll be hoping for a break in it for your family's sake.
Thank you. I appreciate you putting us on here and getting the word out and helping us spread her name around.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Missing Persons. If you can provide any information to help solve the case we discussed in this episode, we hope that you'll contact the appropriate authorities.
We hope that you'll tell your friends about Missing Persons and invite them to listen to the show. Word of mouth will really help us grow. And if you'd like to help us reach new listeners, please be sure to rate and review Missing Persons on the platform you're listening to us now on.
We'd like to tell you a little bit about our Patreon program. If you visit patreon.com/missingpodcast, you can sign up to help this podcast through ongoing monthly support. As a thank you, we'll give you an on-air shout-out, a thank you card and sticker, plus you'll get ad-free early access to every new episode of Missing Persons, as well as any bonus content.
Your Patreon support also goes directly towards helping the missing, because every dollar that we earn through Patreon will be split with two worthwhile causes that benefit the efforts to bring missing people home: charlieproject.org and private investigations for the missing. Your Patreon support will really go a long way towards helping. We hope you'll consider supporting the show. We just want to give a big shout out to our brand new Patreon supporters: Amanda Wardle, Elaine Fiorina, Kate Much, Jennifer Bardwell, Jillian Kuzma. Thanks so much. You aren't just helping the show with your support, but also private investigations for the missing and charlieproject.org. Just a reminder, new episodes of Missing Persons drop every other Saturday. If you want to find us on social media, you can search Facebook for Missing Persons Podcast. We're also on Twitter with the handle @missing_pod. And of course, you can always find us on our website, missingpersonspodcast.net. As we wrap up, be sure to give a listen to this preview of a podcast I think you'll really enjoy. It's called Morbidology. On behalf of Jess Betancourt, this is Mike Morford saying thanks, and we'll see you next time on Missing Persons.
Missing Persons is produced under the name AbJack Entertainment by Mike Morford and Jessica Betancourt. It's hosted and edited by Mike Morford, with research and writing by Jessica Betancourt. Be sure to listen every other Saturday for an all-new episode of Missing Persons.
Morbidology is a weekly true crime podcast hosted by me, Emily G. Thompson, author of Unsolved Child Murders, Cults Uncovered, and co-author of Unsolved Murders, True Crime Cases Uncovered.
911 emergency. My son shot my husband. I need an ambulance. He's bleeding.
Using investigative research combined with primary audio, including 911 calls, interviews, and trial testimony, Morbidology takes a look at some of the world's most heinous murders.
Do you know why you're here?
For a home invasion gone terribly wrong.
Listen to Morbidology now on Apple, Spreaker, Stitcher, Podbean, or wherever else you get podcasts.